Hello all. It's been a while. I was out on holidays, but I'll try to continue as we go forward. And today we'll discuss about how do you data upgrade or data migrate from Business Central 14 to Business Central 21, as that is one of the question in an existing video in my YouTube channel. So if you know this, I guess you can skip it. If you are interested, we'll talk about it. And just to be very clear, we'll be talking about a data upgrade process where there are no customization in Business Central 14, which are modifying the base objects. So all your customization in Business Central 14 at this point are in extension. If you're not there, then that's a topic for some other day and we can talk about it. But if we are looking for that, let's talk about it. Okay, so first, where should we go and head up to see what are the steps? This is the link on the Microsoft website, which talks about how you upgrade an unmodified CAL application to Business Central 21. I'll put the link in the description of this video. This talks about all the steps that you need to follow if you are upgrading from Business Central 14 to Business Central 21. Now, before we start running that, there are certain checks and balances that we should do. One of the article that's here is some known issues in Business Central on-premise data upgrade, specific to data upgrade. And there I'll highlight some of the things that you need to check when you're upgrading to Business Central 21. And if you have any other errors, you should always refer to this page because this lists down all the common issues that you see. The first one that you should note is that the table changes to temporary may prevent synchronization of new base app. So if you don't know it, in version 17, any table that was set to be temporary, where it was recommended by Microsoft to use them as temporary, like Excel buffer and other buffer tables, Microsoft have changed it to a new table type called temporary. And if there is any data in any of those tables, that'll cause problem in the upgrade because those tables will be deleted and will be converted into temporary tables in the future version. So make sure before you run your upgrade, you have reviewed that there is no data in this table in any of the company in the database. If there is any data, you'll have to delete it because these were supposed to be buffer tables. So make sure that you check it before you start your migration process. Um, Anything else? Let's have a look. Nothing urgent, I guess. And if there are any problems, you can surely refer to this. Okay. The other common mistake that people do, and I'll also add the link in the description, when they are upgrading from Business Central 14 to a higher version, is they skip looking at something called as upgrade compatibility matrix. So you should always look into Dynamics 365 Business Central upgrade compatibility matrix to understand which version you can upgrade to. So let's see. This is for upgrading to from Business Central version 21. We are not there. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and 14. So we are here. So this is the whole compatibility matrix based on the CU that you are in Business Central 14. The person who requested this video specifically said for Business Central 14 CU 40, if I remember it correctly. So you, if you're watching this video, you should refer to this area for sure. Now let's try to understand what this matrix talks about. It says that if you are upgrading from this version of, let's pick this one, from version 14 CU3, and when I'm saying CU2 in this case, the version 14 had a number conflict, so remember this. So if you are upgrading from cumulative update 2, it is referring to the application code, not your platform code. Now, what's the difference there? Let's open the Business Central 14 client and let me explain you that. So when you open your Business Central 14 database, and this is the database that we are going to upgrade, when you go into the help menu and look at this, the number that you see here is the platform version, which is 48664. So if you look at mine is CU35. So if I go back and look at CU35 here, And if I navigate to this page, it'll open the details of cumulative update. This talks about 48514. It does not talk about 48664. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong version. 35. I did click on the right link, I guess. It might not have been correctly set. But let's pick another version. Let's pick this one. Hopefully this works. Oh, okay. Yes. So here it is. The application and the platform build. The platform build refers to the number that you see when you click on the help menu and about menu. This is your platform build. Okay, the build 4664. But what is important when you are talking in terms of data upgrade is what is the application build, which is what is the code that you are using, and that you can check based on the versions that you have in objects. So like I'm on CU35, mine should not have any objects higher than 35 here. So if I try to filter this out list and say that this should be 36, and if I hit apply, I'm finding something because 35 is numbered as 36, as we saw that there are some problem. But if I do 37, I should see nothing in any of my object. If the versions are merged correctly, if your partner have done it correctly, and if you're a partner, if you have applied a cumulative update and have done it correctly, then that number should help you to understand what cumulative update you are in. Mine is 35, which in Business Central 14 is called 36, numbered as 36. CU35 is numbered as 36. So these are the objects, and that means that I am on the application version 36. And that's important to remember, that when this matrix you are looking at, you are looking not at the platform version, but you are looking at the application version. Coming back to our discussion, so if you are on CU2, which is 14.3, and you are upgrading to 21, which is this, so in the intersection of these two number, this is the minimum version that you can go to, which means you can go to any version of BC21 higher than 21.0, and that will be clear when you come here like this. So if you are on BC14 CU40, and I guess that's the example that somebody had, you will have to be at least on version 21.1 as your target version. You can't go to 21.0, because these upgrade paths are written based on changes that cumulative update brings to your database. In the same way, if you are upgrading to 40 from CU46, you can upgrade to 21.6 or higher. You can go to 7, 8, 9 or 10, but you can't go 21.5. So make sure that you look at this matrix. And if my description or my detail does not explain what I'm trying to say, you can read this section. This should give you the same idea which I was trying to explain you. Hope that's clear. Okay, so let's look at our environment that we are dealing with. There are no modified objects in my database at this point, and I have created 3 additional company other than 3 that I get from the US DVD test 1, 2, 3, and these are copies of these company, so they have data. Other than that, I have added in each company via an extension. I have added 3 new fields, which you can see here, and these have values in all the companies. So just the customer number is copied and all. And then there is also a table from my extension, which is called demo data. And you can see that it has also the data for all the companies. Okay. And the extension that I have is, you can see it on extension management. So other than this, I have the upgrade demo extension, which I'll be using for this demo. Hope that's clear. So let's rock and roll. Let's open our PowerShell and let's start following what Microsoft is suggesting in this article. Okay. I'll be using PowerShell IC. If you are not comfortable with PowerShell ISE and you are okay with the administration cell, you should use that. I like it because it gives me a way to keep my commands intact, as well as it gives me a GUI to do certain things. You can just search for PowerShell ISE and make sure you run it as administrator while running the upgrade process. Okay, so let's quickly go through and see what's there. You can read about all these details. um, Everything looks good here. You should have 21 installed, which I have already done. I don't have any custom permissions. And the first thing that you need to make sure that people kind of skip this step is to make sure that you have disabled the data encryption in every company. And that is optional if you're using it. So if you search for encryption, I guess there is a data encryption management page where if it is enabled, you will have to disable it. Otherwise, you'll get some error during upgrade. And once the upgrade is completed, you can re-enable it, import the new the encryption key, and that'll get activated again. So remember this, you have to disable the encryption before you start it. Once you have done that, you need to uninstall all the extension from your database. And for that, there's a single line of command which is here. Okay, so let's copy this and let's go back to our PowerShell. But because we are using ISE, I'll have to explain ISE that I'll be using Business Central 14. So for that, I need to import a module, and that module is in my installation directory and in the service folder called navadmintool.ps1. Once you run it, the PowerShell understand that these are also the valid command that I need to support, and you'll be good there. Okay, so I'll write it, and if people want it, I'll put it on GitHub. Import module. Okay, the first thing is what we are going to do is we are going to uninstall okay extensions from BC14. We are uninstalling, we are not removing them. Okay, so what I did is I just picked this command, get nav app command, and let's try to understand it as I move it. So the first command, get nav info, gives me all the app info which are existing on a specific service instance. My service is BC140 and my tenant is not there, so I'll use default. You can skip it if you don't want it, but I'll keep it as it is. Then there's a pipe, which means anything that comes out of this first part of the command, give that input to this second part of the command. What this does, it says uninstall the app that you find from the server BC140 and the tenant default, and the name that comes from the first one, the version that comes from the first one, and do a force. The force does not mean it will remove anything, it'll just not give you a pop-up to confirm every time. So I'll just close my client so that I don't have any troubles with that, and I'll run this command. This just completely removed all the extensions that I have. I only had one. If you have 10, it'll just uninstall them. It'll not remove the data, it is just uninstalling it. Then the second step here is to unpublish all extension from application server instance. So let's copy this and let's put it here saying unpublish. Okay, from BC14, and I'll just follow the same step. I'll just copy this as it is and paste it. Oh, there is no tenant here. If you want, you can have that, I guess. That's okay. And I'll remove this. So this will unpublish everything, but the data will still be there behind the scene, and we'll see it once we are done. Once we have done that, then there are some symbols which are different than extension, and you can't see them in your extension management page. So the next is to remove all the symbols that you have in your environment of BC14. So the next is remove symbols. And this will automatically identify whatever symbols your environment have, and if there are any, it'll just remove them. As easy as it is. So let's run this also. Done. So that seems to be 4 symbols which have been removed. We are not on a multi-tenant environment, so I don't have to do that. And then at the end, in BC14, I just have to stop my service. So this completes my BC14 steps that I need to do, which is stop service. And then you can do run all of them together. If you are using the same script, you can just select all of them and run together. That's not a problem. So let's run this. This will stop my BC140 service, which is mapped to the database. So this has been stopped. Okay. Now the next is convert the database to version 21. The people who have done upgrade in NAV will understand that now this becomes my script one. So I'll just save it and then I'll share it with you later and via GitHub or somewhere where you need it. So I'll just save it as BC14 to BC21 step 1. Okay. Now because you're going to now execute commands on BC21, I'll just copy this and we'll close the PowerShell and I'll reopen it so that my PowerShell now understand that it is running for BC21, whatever your target version is. In this case, it's 21. So I'll just paste this here and instead of 140, I'll change it to 210. This will automatically pick commands related to PC21. Okay. So the first step is convert the application database. So what I was saying is people who have done updates in past will understand that after you complete the steps into the old version, you have to open your database into the newer application. Because there is no platform involved in Business Central, you will have to do that via PowerShell command. And the command is super simple. Invoke the database conversion on the database server and what is the database name. So my database name is, okay, let me copy it from my SQL server, is this here. And my SQL server is actually have an instance. So I'll add it here with this. So this is my SQL instance name. If you don't have an instance, you can just use your SQL server name and that'll be all. Okay. Once you are done with this, you'll see a message like this. But we'll move forward and we'll come to the next. The next is configure your server for destination app for migration. What this step does, this sets your base application detail into your service tier. Okay. How you do that? It's pretty straightforward. You just have to copy this and paste it here. And then here is your BC service, target service comes into it. And then your database name is this. Oh, it is just right now setting up your service tier. So I'm setting up this. And then the other setting that I have to do on my service is this. Let's see what that is. My service name, okay, will set the destination app for migration. You don't have to change this because this is the app ID of the system application, and then this is the app ID, if I'm not wrong, of your base application. So this command will remain as it is. You don't have to change anything on this for every country. So if you are doing it for India, the steps even for remain same for that, for this one. Now it talks about here, you can read about it here if needed. Now, if you want to use permission set defined as data, then setting that as false, which is not needed. I would like to use permission from extension. I should disable my task scheduler in case if there are any job queues which are configured, they should kind of automatically not run during my upgrade process. And what it is doing is instead of manually going into your service tier panel, which something looks like this, you are setting these properties on this service via these PowerShell command. If you want to do it manually, you are allowed to do that. You can go back in BC21 administration cell and set it. And once you have set all these, you will restart the service so that the anytime you change any parameter on your service, the service need to be restarted. So this will do that. Now after that, I'll import the site license compatible to Business Central 20 210. And then at the end, because the license has been uploaded, it need to restart the service. So at the end of it, you will need the license file to be plugged in, and anytime you change the license, we all know that you have to restart your service tier. Hope that's clear, and I don't think at this point there are any confusion. If you have any questions, do let me know into the comment section. I'll be happy to answer those questions as we do, as you know, as I go through these videos and other videos in the series as they has been asked. So I'll just pick my license path, copy as path, and I'll paste it here. Now, if you notice, I'm using a partner license, BC license file, which is a little bit different. And maybe this file is not here. Let me just see, where is that? Okay, and let me copy that as path. So this is a different file, a new file that is available with the Business Central license. With Business Central 21, I don't think that'll be a problem if you are setting up your FLF file. So you can either use FLF if you have one, or if you have a BC license file, then you can use it. Now everything I have set, but I am not able to, I haven't set my database server and database instance, which it should tell me to do that, but it did not. And I'll not be able to restart my service if I don't do that. So I don't know how to set those parameters. So what you can do, this is the beauty of PowerShell ISE, that I can open this panel, and instead of set, I can get the configuration. So am doing a get nav server configuration, and I'm using the BC210. And let's run this. So somewhere it'll tell me that it is connecting to a server, the SQL server. Okay, here it is. The where is that? Okay. I just saw it, and then it moved away. So give me a minute. Okay, here it is, the database server. So I should also set my database server. So let's do it on the top. And then there is one more thing. In my case, you might not have it, called database instance. So if you have an instance, you also will have to set it, called database instance property. But if you don't have the database instance, don't worry about it. You don't have to set that. Okay. So I'll copy this as it is, that I'm setting up the database server and I'm setting up the database instance. And then I need to use the key value to pass my values of my database server and database instance. My database server is localhost, so I can just key in the database server as this. And my instance is SQL 2009 because that's what I'm using, so I'll use this. With this, my target service tier should be okay with me following the steps. So I've run this. Let's run the conversion and see what happens. It'll ask you for the confirmation that if you convert this, you'll not be able to open your database with the older exe. And I don't want to do that. It recommends you to take a backup, and then let's yes. So at this point, it is equivalent to opening your database to a higher version platform as you would have done in the legacy upgrade that we used to do. Once that is done, I'll just set up my service tier with at least these parameters and restart it. So what it is doing, it is manually going in and setting up these properties that you set using these panels in Business Central. And why I'm emphasizing on doing it from PowerShell, because in future, and people should know it right now, that the administration shell is no longer available. So we should always try to do these settings from PowerShell, because that's what we'll be doing in future, or we are doing still in future. But while this is being running, because a restart of server can take time, let's move ahead and let's copy other commands. Okay. So we have set this, we have restarted the service, we have imported the license, and now it talks about the publish extension. Now what this publish extension does, it'll install the extension that you need for the BC21. Okay, what are those extension? Let's have a look. The first one is the system application, and I'm pretty sure that there's a video which talks about why this in this particular order, but let's copy it as it is. The another one is our base app. Okay, so let's add that here. And last but not least is our the system application, Microsoft application that we use. So I'll just copy this and we'll paste it here. While this is happening, this restart happened, so I'll just upload the license and restart the service again. So it's doing that, and let's come back here. Then if there are new versions of other Microsoft extension that you want to install, do them in the same as I just did for those. Okay, a new extension report layout was added in version 20. If you are coming from an earlier version than 20, make sure to publish and install extension to get the latest report layout, which is a different thing. We're just doing a plain simple upgrade at this moment, and we can install them later if needed. If you are coming from India and doing an upgrade from India localization, then you need to publish these in the same order also. Okay, and then if there are third-party extension, so I also have a third-party extension, so I'll just copy this and I'll add it here. So my standard object set from BC14 will be replaced with these three apps: system app, base app, and application app. And then this represent my custom extension. If there are other ISVs in place and so on and so forth, you need to define all of them. Hope that's clear. So let me just replace this string with my service name, and then let's talk about the system app path, which is the first app that this article suggested here. So the first app that you need to do is the application, which you will find in the product DVD inside application, system application, and source folder. So let's go back to our folder. I have already this PC 21.4 US DVD. So I'll go into it, look for the application folder, and then it said go to the system application folder. Okay, I'm looking for system application, and here it is. And then inside the source, I'll find the app. So I'll just copy as path and go back in my PowerShell and paste it. The second one, it talks about the base app. So let's go back and search for base app. Okay, go to the source, and here is my base app. So let's copy the path and add it here. The last but not least, it said look for the application path. So let's go back and look for the application source, right click on the path and copy that in here. Okay, now it's talking about the third party or the custom extension that I had. So if I go back here outside my product DVD, I already have a version of my custom extension in version 21.0. So I'll just place it here. This completes my set of publishing the extension of the target version. Now out of this, and I'll run this set with this white and green icon, the biggest app that you have is the base app. So it'll take some time to install that app or publish that app into the environment. But while this is happening, we have other stuff to do. So let's go back to our article and try to pick what else need to be done. Then it says restart your service. Okay. So let's write it down and we'll do it while the publishing is happening. Restart service. Okay. What else we have? Let's see. Synchronize the tenant is the next step. So let's write it down and let's see how you sync the tenant. We are not multi-tenant, so we'll skip this. We'll come here and we just have to do this. This is synchronizing all your database at this moment. And then you synchronize apps, all the apps that you are installing get synchronized at this point. How you do that? Here in the same order, the system application, the base application, and last but not least is the application extension. And if you have custom extension, then you do that for the custom extension also. So let's change this while this is being updated so that we are in control. And let's replace this, and my tenant ID will be replaced with default because I'm not using the multi-tenant environment. Okay, system application remains as it is. I'll need to get the version of system, base, and application. Now to get the version, there are different ways, but the simple way of doing it is going here, go to one of these versions. Microsoft app have most of the time, or I should say every time, have the same version of the apps. So let me go back in, pick the path of the base app, copy as path, and I'll need to start a new PowerShell because this one is already running something. So let me pop up a new PowerShell. And using PowerShell, you can know the exact version of the app that you're installing if you don't have it. So this is my path of my base application. But to do anything on PowerShell, we know we need to load the module. So I'll copy this, go back here, paste it here, and let's run it in this space. And then to get the info about an app, there is a command called get nav get hyphen nav app info, and you can pass the parameter path, which will where you can send the path of the app. Once you have done that, you just run this command, and I guess it is waiting for, okay, here it is. Let's run this, and it'll give you all the details about that app which you are trying to get info about. It tells you what is the ID of it, what is the name of that app, what is the version of that app, and so on and so forth. So I'll just copy the base app and plug it in here. But I know that these are same for everyone, but if you're not sure about it, what you should be doing is, let me copy all these four here so that I can just use them and I don't go back to the product DVD every time. And I can just do a get nav info of these different parts that I have. All right. So what will happen? I'll get the info about all these apps, including my custom app. I might not know it. Maybe I'm getting it from someone, from a partner. And the app does not say it very clearly what the version is. So I can run all these commands and I'll see that my system app also have the same version, which is 21.5 to 563, which is same as of my base app and same as of my system application. Because these all are coming from Microsoft, so they have the similar uh, version. But my custom app has the version, where is my custom app, starts here, 21.0. Okay. So for my custom app, and let me put the side, I'll use the version as 21.0. It is still publishing if you notice. So but while it is publishing, let's move ahead and copy other stuffs. Okay, if you are coming again doing this upgrade for India localization, then you also have to sync these extension in the same order as we did earlier. Okay, now the next step is upgrading the data. So let's write it down there, and there's an error on which app? I guess on my app because it is not code sign. Sorry, I should have taken care of it. So if it is not code sign, you need to skip the verification. But it tells me that other three are done. So let me run this one and let me see what apps are installed because I can check that in the middle because there was an error. I just want to see what apps I have in my server instance BC210. And if you want to look it on a Excel like view, the tip here is to use out grid view. So as soon as you run this, it'll open a grid which is open on my other screen. I'll drag it here and tells me that it has a system base and application and upgrade demo installed or published with these different versions. So that means the publish is done for all the apps. So now let's restart the service. This will restart my service, and then we'll let the sync happen for all my apps which just came in. Okay. So while the restart is happening, let's move in and try to fetch commands for the update data, which is again pretty simple. Start nav app data upgrade, which allows you to run the data upgrade process in an instance, and we'll see it in a while. Let's go back. Then you need to install because the upgrade will do everything that's needed. And then last is to install the app. Now there are some Microsoft app which automatically get installed, and we'll see that because this talks about only installing application. It does not talk about installing the base app and the system app, because if you read it, when the upgrade happens, it automatically installs the base app and the system app. The only app it does not install is application app. If you are upgrading from India again, then make sure that you only install these two because others will automatically get installed during the upgrade step. And then for each extension, you need to run this. This step will automatically install the new extension version. Now remember this is only for the extensions. Now if you remember, I have one custom extension, but if you have multiple, you will have to execute this command for multiple time, which is for upgrading apps slash extension, which is works like this. So before I explain this, let me, oh, it's still restarting. So the Microsoft objects, which were objects in the past, will now automatically be part of extension. So they are coming from an object based to an extension based model. So the upgrade step automatically understand that and do it for you. You don't have to manually run the upgrade. But if you are coming from an extension to an extension, and that applies even in the future, you will have to run the start nav data upgrade. So if you are upgrading AL to L, and there is a video about AL to L upgrades in my YouTube channel, you will notice that I'll be running the start nav app data upgrade even for the Microsoft extensions, because that's how an app kind of gets upgraded to a higher version. Okay, still running the restart, which I don't think it should be running that long, but okay. If you are coming from India version, you must upgrade these extensions also, because these are extension in the BC14 version of India localization as during the upgrade process. I'm not doing exclude report layout. If needed, I'll do it later. And then install the third party extension, which I have no plans yet, but we'll keep it and we'll test it out with some of the process. Uh, for a new version that wasn't published. So we'll see where it brings us to. And then let's talk about upgrading the control add-in. So let's copy this step and let's come here and let's try writing this to upgrade the control add-in. How you do upgrading the of control add-in? It's all here, that you need to run this whole set of code and automatically install or update your control add-ins. Now here is, there are two things into it. One is this new thing that you need to change, and the other is that there is this path called app name. If you read through the article, the app name is set to a specific variable which is defined on the top of this article, if I remember it correctly. Let me see. Add-in folder, the folder that contain the add-in in BC21, for example this, and because I have a default installation, I'll be able to directly pick this path as it is and set it as $admin folder in my script. So what I can say here is before you run this, make sure that this path, and I'll see what that is set to this, which is here. Hopefully this is how it works. If it doesn't, we'll figure that out once we reach there. And then the add-in folder is this. So that becomes my $add-in folder, which is using this path, and that should upgrade my control add-in. Okay, let's go down there. Okay, this is done. Okay, upgrade control add-in, so we can do that here. And then permission set, I don't have that for the demo. Change application version. Now this is very important. Sometimes people say, oh, the upgrade is done, let's leave it here and we don't have to worry about anything else. But technically speaking, this is what, oh sorry, this is what updates your help and support and other areas. So you need to make sure that you run this step, and there is a specific pattern how you do this. So set nav application, and let's set it here. And then after that you have to run a sync when you set the application, and last but not least you have to run the start nav data upgrade. These three together help you to update your application version in the database. And then this change the application version. So in help and client menu, you have to set this property also on the service instance. Okay, and that's it. If you are using task scheduler before upgrade, you will make sure that you enable the task scheduler. And if you're using data encryption, as we talked in the beginning, you'll enable this. And then that's it. So let's wait for this to be over, which is over. Nice. So my restart is over, which is here. Now I'll run the sync. Okay, so this will start my sync of my environment. As you can see here, it'll take a while to kind of complete the sync because I have 6 companies in the database. So it takes time to kind of, based on how much data you have, your sync will be that smaller or that big of a deal. So we'll have to wait for a while. What I'll do is I'll pause the video, and as the sync completes, I'll resume the video so that we don't kind of wait just for this for a while. So let's pause the recording. So the synchronization got complete, as you can see here. Now what we'll do is we'll run this set. Oh, wait a minute. I did not specify my custom extension name. Log in, end up with an error message. So I'll just copy that and I'll paste it here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to sync all these apps. So let's select the set and let's run this batch. Now remember this, as I was saying earlier, the base app is the biggest app, and there's a lot need to be done because you are coming from CAL, including your renaming of your all of your tables in the application, and also adding those data audit field which was added somewhere in version 17. That all will happen at this point when the synchronization is happening. Is there any data in those temporary table? If you get an error message, that will be here. If there is any conflicting data which does not satisfy to the app model, that'll also fail here. So majority of your checks and balances are either happening on the pre-step that we did, which is the synchronization of the tenant, or they are happening at the sync app level. So we'll have to wait for this for a while. While I'm waiting, I'll pause the video, but I'll make sure that I rename or change, update this to the PC120 and turn into default in all of these commands. So that doesn't come as a surprise that before the video was paused, we were seeing this and now we see this. So I'll do that. And as the sync of each of these app completes, I'll resume the video. Okay. So sync is over successfully. Let's start the data upgrade. And there are 2 modes, serial and parallel, and you can choose whatever is preferred at that point. Let's start it and we'll talk about it, and we'll start the data upgrade process. The functional mode serial means that it will run one company at a time. If you run parallel, then it runs the upgrade step in all the companies at the same time, right? Now, when you run the start nav data upgrade, you might see that it's completed, but it is not. And to get the status of upgrade, there's a command called get nav data upgrade. And I should not be showing you this. You should be using this to know all the parameter. So show command add-on, and let's do get nav data upgrade, and here you should choose progress, and you need to give your instance name, and you should update the status in every 10 second, progress in every 10 second. So if you look right now, it's at 59.09, and then there are other options if you want to see. If there is an error in the upgrade process, you should use this tab, give it your instance name, and click on error name, and show you all the errors that has generated during the upgrade process. If you want to see the detail of each and every step, then you click on detail, give it this way, and then it shows you detail of each and every step run. So these are the different options. Typically what helps is the progress window, which shows you how the progress is happening. This is one that I can kind of like it. The other one is detailed, and which I'll show you once it is completed, what happens with the detail, and you can click on detail. So this kind of running the data upgrade behind the scene, serially one company at a time, and based on how much code has been succeeded, the percentage completed will update at every 10 second, which is completed right now. That's why it kind of closed. Now for the detailed view, when you click on detail and do this and click on detail, run this, it'll show you everything which is not human readable. Make sense? So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. And again, as I told you the trick last time, I'll do a pipe and do a out as grid view. That'll show me as a table X what happened, how long it took, per step wise, per company wise, and what is the state of that. You can even check it when it is running. It'll show you what is in progress, what has been completed. If there is an error, it also shows you the error message here. So if this is what you prefer, you can use it. If you want to see every function call in every company, you can sort it by company name and so on and so forth. This will also give you how much time it took from begin to end. So you can use the detailed option like that. Okay. Once the upgrade is over, we need to install the application, and with the new version is this. So I'll just copy it and paste it here. So let's run that. At this point, my environment is accessible. The last thing that I have to do, more or less minimum, is to install my custom extension, which is this. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. And with the version, oh, sorry, the upgrade, not install. Upgrading my app that was already an app in PC 14. So when I run this, it'll just upgrade my app. And then last, or more or less last, is to upgrade the control add-in. So I'll just select the whole set, run this together, and this will update all my control add-ins. Now about the setnav application. Now the setnav application sets the application version. Now this is not the right version that I'm looking for, because I'm on, if you remember, on 21.cu4. That's what I need to find out, what is my application version look like for cu4. So let's go back here. Let's go back to compatibility matrix, and somewhere there will be a 21.4. So let's navigate to that. And here you see that the application build is this. Now if you notice that it is saying a different number here, which is for cu0 of 21.0, and I will not be able to show you that because there is no hyperlink to that, but I'll set the application version based on the target that I'm going. So if you're going to cu7 of 21, then you pick the platform or the version for 21.7. I'm going to 21.4. So I went into this article here for the cumulative update and saw what the application build is. Now, once I've said that, this needs a sync, and then this needs to start the data upgrade, and then it needs to set the configuration. As we saw, an upgrade does not stop, and it just kind of says that it's completed. So I'll just run these three together first and synchronize this, and the synchronize is completed. Let's run the upgrade, and I don't know is it running or not, so I'll again run the detailed one and see where my upgrade status is, which will tell me here in the status that everything is completed right now. Okay, last but not least, to update my help and support page, I'll run this. Okay, once this is done, I should be able to access my BC210 to see what I found out in my upgraded environment. Okay, anything else that I missed here? I don't think so. That should cover everything. Let's see what we see once this gets loaded. This should have right now 6 companies, the 3 Coronas companies, and 3 test 1, test 2, and test 3. And then as we begin, let's complete the circle. There was some custom field in the customer page, which have some data, and then there was a custom table, which I wanted to have, right? So while this is running, let's quickly talk about what about other apps that you might need. So if you need to install other apps which don't come by default with the upgrade or which was not available in Business Central 14, and let's pick one of those. Let's pick, mm, okay, let's, okay, let's choose one. Let's say data archive. Okay, you need to install this app, let's assume, and we'll come to that in a while. Let's copy this as path. First, let's review this. In this environment, I have 6 companies. So far, so good. Okay, let's go into the customer table and see what we have the data for the custom extension or not. If not, then that's a problem, and our upgrade completely failed with that. It's a little bit slow. I don't know why, but okay. Here I have the customer page. Let's open the customer card and review that do we have the data or not on these 3 fields. And if you see, we have the data on those 3 fields that were upgraded from there to here. And let's switch the company to see the data in the new table that we have, because I made sure that each table had some data, uh, so that we can test out that what happened in the upgrade process. And that table is called demo data, and you can notice that there is data attached to it. Now let's quickly go into extension management and see what got installed. If everything goes well, there should be 3 and 1 of mine, so total 4 app, and there are these 4 apps which are installed with the right version. The last thing that we did of setting of application version will have impact here in your help and support. So when you go into your help and support, it should tell you that you are on the platform this and application what you set. If you miss that step, it'll still say 14.0. So remember that you need to set that. Now, if I want to install other additional extension, which is completely optional based on what your customer need or what you need. So to install an app, there are 3 steps. One is publish, and I wrote it incorrect, publish nav app, your service name, the server instance parameter, and your path, which is this. Then your sync of that nav app and server instance, which will come as it is on this also. And then the name is the parameter, which is typically here. The first part is the publisher before underscore. The second part is the app name. And if somebody does it right, the third part shows you the version. And then last but not least is install the nav app, and the parameter remains same. And you can just run these 3 together, and I'll install that data archive app into my environment here in Business Central. And there was another message. Nice. And I misspelled the NAV app. So it ran the publish, but it did not run the sync and install. So don't do mistakes like me, silly mistakes. But now if you go back to your Business Central and look at your extension management, you'll notice that the data archive is here. One thing which I'll remind you at the end, that this step you cannot blindly follow as I just did, because I use an app which had no dependency. Let me explain you what I mean by that. So if you are trying to install, let's say this one, now this is again one which should prove its point. If I try to do this, I, if everything goes well, I should be able to copy this as it is, pick the name of the app, which is this, replace it on my second line, and replace it on my third line, and I should be good there, right? So I should be able to set this and run this, and it failed. Why it failed? It said, I cannot compile your app because it is missing something called Contoso coffee demo data, which means that this particular app has a dependency, and you need to install the dependencies first before you install an app. How you do that? Remember our friend get nav app info server instance bc210, and then the path remains same. What does this tell you? Everything about this app. So let's run this. Okay, get nav app info, what it is saying. Okay, it should be working. Let me see. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Path? No. Get nav app info is the command. So let's try it again. App info and path. Sorry, no server instance, which is here already. So I'll just place that and let's run this. Now, if you look at it, there are some very specific details. The top part starts with the app ID, the app name, the version, the publisher, and all, but it also gives you a section called dependencies. And it tells you that this particular app has a dependency with the Contoso coffee demo dataset. So first, you will have to install the dependency, and then and only then you'll be able to install this particular app. And there can be one or more dependency to the app that you're installing. So make sure that you review this, and to install this app, what will be the order is I'll have to kind of come back here and delete this line. I'll copy this set as it is because I have a prerequisite for this app, which is available in my Contoso domain data set, and I'll just copy this as path, paste it here, and copy the name of it. Okay, my bad. Okay, hopefully this does not have any dependency. I know for that fact there's no dependency to this one, but if there are other dependencies, you will also have to review that and install them first. So let's install the set, which is a dependency to the second app. So now once it is done, I'll run this set and it will go ahead and install it easily. So now if I refresh this, which I should be able to, I hope, it should show me that both of those apps are now installed. So it's important to understand the dependencies before you start installing the new apps that you have. Okay, let's go back quickly to the article and see did we miss anything. We did this, and then you can do other stuff, which is enabling your encryption, enabling your task scheduler if you use that, and so on and so forth. So before I let you go, let's quickly talk about important things that you need to remember when you're upgrading from Business Central 14 to Business Central 21. One, make sure to review your some known issues, and in this particular example, you will surely have to look for these tables which are important. If they have data, your sync will fail. So remember to review that there is no data in any of these table in any of the companies. Second, make sure to review your compatibility matrix. If you are coming from Business Central 14 CU40, which is this, then you can only upgrade to 21.1. You'll not be able to go to 21.0 if needed. You can go to 21.2 or higher, or 21.1 or higher, but you can't go backward. Third, make sure that you know your Business Central 14, the right platform, or sorry, application version, because the cumulative update is defined based on the application, not on the platform. And during the upgrade, make sure to set the application build for your help and support section so that you don't end up with error messages, not an error message, but incorrect information in your client when your users are using it. Hope that makes sense. I should be, but I'll not request you to subscribe to this channel. I understand that you value, if the content is good, you'll surely subscribe to the channel. And I am optimistic that everybody is willing to share the information. So I'll leave it to you. If you learn something new, please do share the video. And, uh, you know, if you think this channel is helping you, make your call to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Otherwise, that's okay. I'll see you in another video. If you have any questions or any other topic that's bugging you that you want me to talk about, just put them into the comment section of any video. I read all your comments and I'll make sure to cover that topic if I know about it. If I don't, I'll try to learn it. There will be a little bit delay, but I'll make sure that comes in the future. Thank you. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.